that really got me into starting to want to think about how to make the music. So, of course, I learned mostly on the job, you know, and then I started to learn about changes and harmonics and how a tune was built harmonically, so that I could remember the harmony and be able to play without music and be able to substitute one harmony for another or to change the harmonies and so on. Now, the whole process of learning the facility of being able to play jazz is to take these problems from the outer level in, one by one, and to stay with it at a very intense conscious concentration level until that process becomes secondary and subconscious. Now, when that becomes subconscious, then you can begin concentrating on that next problem, which will allow you to do a little bit more, you know, and so on and so on. And this is what happened, of course. But, so that's how much really work it took for me. I don't consider myself as talented as many people. But in some ways that was an advantage because I didn't have a great facility immediately, so I had to be more analytical. And in a way, this
forced you.
Yeah, it forced me to build something, you know, so that was good. But that might give you an idea of how the problem is approached and what degree of time and effort is necessary to make all of this subconscious so that you can then express yourself. And I would certainly say it's more than worth it, but I think most people just don't realize the immensity of the problem and either because they can't conquer it immediately think that they haven't got the ability, or they're so impatient to conquer it that they never do see it through. But if you do understand the problem, I think then you can enjoy your whole trip through. I know I feel like I've been tremendously fortunate in finding the position that I now have.
Yeah.
And yet, I can remember coming to New York to make or break, you know, in jazz, and saying to myself, now how should I attack this practical problem of becoming a jazz musician as making a living and so on. And I said, well, ultimately I came to the conclusion that all I must do is take care of the music, even if I do it in a closet. See? And if I really do that, somebody's going to come and open the door of the closet and say, hey, we're looking for you, you know.
Yeah.
And this is the way I really approached the whole thing. I never tried really to push
Most
doors.
Most of us, though, don't have this type of approach, you know. Our approach is, I have to do this and be accepted. So many of us are inclined to work and live for something else rather than the thing we're doing.
I had those things going too, but I mean, I always tried to discipline myself to you know, shut them out and all that. But really, I felt that otherwise, see, if I spread myself all over the place, I would have lost sight of everything. It's like you say, isn't it terrible that there's a war here and starvation there and poverty here? Now, what am I going to do as a human being about this whole thing, you know?
Yeah.
Well, gosh, if you try to accept every problem, you're just going to go insane.
Yeah.
So you have to choose some field in which you operate at your best capacity and which will then serve as an influence to deter all these other things that, you know, that you're worrying about. So I figured, like, if I take care of the music as best I can and with my truest beliefs, then all these other things will be affected as I desire them to be affected, as much as I can affect